I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't know. Everything about the One Piece story that I thought I knew so much about has just crumbled apart into a million tiny little pieces. Is the One Piece even one piece? Is the Triforce made of 3 triangles, or were there 7 the whole time? I just don't know. Last chapter, chapter 1040, we had an interesting revelation from Big Mom herself, and since Big Mom said it, you know it's going to be true, right? Well, Big Mom was, as she was careening off of the side of Onigashima, screaming for dear life that no one could hear because her screams of death have been trapped by Law's ability R Room, as a nuke goes off, which was apparently loaded with antimatter and also some other futuristic alien explosive. Just giant explosion. And, yeah, Big Mom, I mean, she's probably still alive, but we're not talking about that right now. As she was falling, she thought about Goldie Roger, one of her old rivals. I really want to see the flashback of Roger, like, sneaking into Totland and stealing her road poneglyph, because that was brought up by Big Mom, and it was also brought up by Roger, and they were both like, Roger was just like, yeah, I snuck into Totland and stole the road poneglyph from Big Mom. And then Big Mom tells it later, and she's, like, super pissed at Roger for pulling that off. So there's a story there. I want to hear it, okay? But she's falling, and she's thinking, Roger, why did you have to start the Great Pirate Era? It was all because of those words you said. You could have just kept your mouth shut, and you could have just died, and then we wouldn't have to be dealing with these, like, worst generation brats right now, right? And she starts talking about the One Piece, and she's like, what is it? Where is it? Part of it's in this country too, right? Referring to Wano, and then she just falls down in the hole and just goes kablamo, okay? And so, just as she goes kablamo, all of us fans are just like, what? Just like, okay. And so in the review yesterday, I mentioned that there were a few different translations of this, and so I'm also thankful for Sandman AP. I'll put his Twitter in the description below, because right before I did the review yesterday, I actually saw him tweet about this, and that was a really good thing. I'm just going to read his tweet right here. The Viz official translation about Big Mom implying some of or one of the One Piece as a treasure does exist in Wano is accurate. Japanese fans are hyped at this line as well. Okay. And so the reason I bring that up is because there was another translation that was out there that said when Big Mom was falling, she was like, this country holds some of the answers, doesn't it? So it was a lot more ambiguous in that first translation of, like, in Wano, there's some hints to, like, lead you to the One Piece, not like physically part of the One Piece or some of the One Pieces in the country, right? And we already kind of knew that, like, there were hints to get to the One Piece in Wano, because we knew that, well, number one, the Kozuki clan were the stonemasons that carved the poneglyphs, but also we knew that one of the road poneglyphs was already in Wano, and this was even before Kaido and Orochi took over. Although the road poneglyph might have moved since then, because I think, when the Kozuki clan ruled Wano, I'm assuming they kept the road poneglyph in the basement of the castle, and when Brook was there, when Orochi took over, Brook checked the basement and it wasn't there anymore. So I'm thinking Orochi probably gave it over to Kaido, because Orochi himself really had no interest in finding Laugh Tale or the One Piece. He just wanted to run Wano into the ground and, like, ruin it the way that they ruined his clan, the Kurozumi clan, and his life growing up. So that was Orochi's goal, and it still is, just to ruin Wano to the most maximum possible degree, right on his deathbed or whatever, and just give the order to burn it down. So Orochi didn't really care about the One Piece, so he probably just gave the road poneglyph over to Kaido, and it's probably somewhere on Onigashima, but considering a lot of it has been blown to pieces by now or is on fire, I know the road poneglyphs are indestructible. I'm just saying, like, at some point, whatever room the road poneglyph is in, it's probably going to crumble apart, and, the road poneglyph's going to fall on, mainland Wando or the ocean. I guess not the ocean, because it's above the country right now. That would actually be really convenient if the Straw Hats all survive, and they're like, well, wait a second, where was the road poneglyph? And then all of a sudden, just boom, it just lands right in front of them. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? thread. All right. But no, the actual translation is not like, Wano holds some of the answers. Although rather it does, but it's more specific than that, okay? Sandman AP also goes on to state that there was an interview way back in 2019 involving Oda and his editors, because they do that every now and then. And he mentioned that the Wano arc itself is going to be extremely integral to the final chapter of One Piece. And I guess you could definitely see that, considering, number one, this is an arc that Oda has been hyped to draw for a very long time. You can go back, years, decades in One Piece, and you can find references to Wano or like hints about stuff to come. I mean, it was first mentioned as an actual country way back during Thriller Bark, which was like, what, 2006, 2007 that was serialized? So, like, that's insane how long it's been, right? So Oda's been looking forward to this arc for a long time. It's the longest arc in One Piece, bar none, so far. I don't even know if, like, the final arc, like the Laugh Tale arc or whatever you want to call it, will be longer than Wano, because Wano is already, we hit 1040. It started in what, like 909 it started, so we're like 130 chapters over that, so it's like a really long arc. But there's just so many references to like the past here with Toki, and then also the flashbacks involving Roger and Whitebeard. I mean, we just never got anything like that, touching upon endgame stuff in One Piece. Wano is the arc where all of that stuff is coalesced, okay? There might have been a few hints throughout the story, and that's kind of the whole point of One Piece. Like, once the One Piece is finally revealed, and once we finally get to Laugh Tale, there'll be just like, foreshadowing flags all over the damn story. Like, oh, okay, so way back during the Island of Strange Animals arc, this tied back to the One Piece. Oh, and this during Whiskey Peak tied back to the One Piece. Oh, and this moment during Enies Lobby tied back to the One Piece. Like, it's all going to make sense. But the point is, from what Big Mom was saying, no, it wasn't just some, vague hint about the One Piece. No, it was some information that was supposedly, part of the One Piece treasure, whatever that's going to be. And so that got me thinking, like, is it actually one piece, or is it two pieces? 3 pieces? What? I don't get it, right? Okay. So there's 2 angles to look at this. The first angle I wanted to look at was the angle of, going back to the Void Century, Joy Boy, who was the one that created the One Piece treasure and hid it on Laugh Tale, although that's probably not its real name, the island, because Roger gave it that name. Because of the connection with the Kozuki clan and the poneglyphs, there is part of the One Piece, or maybe if the One Piece is information or part of the treasure's information, maybe that information can be found in Wano. Really, we're going to have to wait until after the arc is over, and if Robin can go around and read all those poneglyphs, because remember, there was the poneglyph in the castle that Brook saw as a ghost. Then there was the one at Onigashima that Law saw. Actually, just in the last episode of the One Piece anime, Law saw that poneglyph, but those were both not road poneglyphs. And then there is a road poneglyph somewhere. We just haven't found it yet, which is odd that it hasn't even been referenced, really. So after the arc is over, provided Robin is not captured by Cypher Pole Zero or they have some free time, Robin really needs to read these poneglyphs, because that poneglyph in the basement of the castle that Brook saw, the one with all the creepy dolls surrounding it, that one might very well have information. That might be a Rio poneglyph for all we know. I did a video about Rio poneglyphs and what that could really be, but if they are really 9 poneglyphs that are scattered all over the world, right then and there, that could be it. And I don't think it's a far stretch of the imagination to say that the Rio poneglyphs together make up part of the One Piece treasure. The idea that, like, the One Piece treasure could be a giant mountain of riches, but also all of the Rio poneglyphs together to form the true history, but also could be the ancient weapons, but they also could be this, but they also could be that, but they also could be, I don't know, a magical lamp that once you rub it, a genie comes out and grants your every wish. I mean, you could say anything you want about the One Piece treasure. It could basically be a bunch of stuff in one place, and the whole idea of the One Piece, I don't even know, because sometimes the translations of that, Roger says, I left everything I own in one piece. And in other translations, it's, I left everything I own in that place, or one place. But considering the name of the damn story is One Piece, I'm going to say it's in One Piece. But then again, Oda could always flip that around and could say, like, well, I didn't mean one piece literally, like it's just one piece of treasure or one singular object. No, no, no. I meant it was like one piece of history, the puzzle piece that was lost behind the couch cushions, and you could never finish that puzzle for years and years until the one day you're digging around in there looking for your phone and you find the last puzzle piece and you could fit it in, and it's like, yes, wonderful, it's finally complete. The one piece to rule them all. It could be something like that. Not as like one piece just everything, but the one piece that once it's placed into the slot that it needs to go into, everything makes sense, right? It could be something like that, right? So it could be something left over from, Joy Boy's era, from the Kozuki, the original Kozuki clan shogun that decided to close off Wano. There was some information there. And if there was ever any island on the Grand Line that would have a piece of the One Piece treasure, aside from Laugh Tale, you would probably go with Wano on that because of its long storied history and the fact it was isolated for so long, so the world government could never really get their hands on anything in the nation itself. Let me put it another way. Like, let's say there was an island nation, a kingdom, that did have some information regarding the Void Century, or they did have some information regarding the One Piece treasure, right? But then they became part of the world government. The world government, the Cypher Pole, are going to go in there, and they're going to find every single scrap of information. They're either going to confiscate it and bring it back to Marijois, or they're just going to burn or destroy it, right? Okay? But Wano, being as isolated as it was from the world and not connected to the world government, if there was ever a place, and the Kozuki clan, of course, if there was ever a place where there would be part of the One Piece treasure, or like a hint to what the One Piece treasure is, or maybe just straight up like a journal entry or something that would explain this is what it is, it would be in Wano. And with that being said, now let me connect it back to the second option, okay? What if Big Mom, when she said, it's supposed to be in this country, was not exactly talking about something from way back during the Void Century? What if she was referring to something that one of the Roger pirates left on the island? That's honestly not bad reasoning from Big Mom's perspective, because Big Mom knows that Roger went to Laugh Tale, and she also knows that Oden was part of his crew. I assume she would know that. I mean, I don't think it was that big of a secret, especially with Big Mom with her information network. She should obviously have known that Oden Kozuki, a member of, the Kozuki clan, was part of Roger's crew, right? And Oden had a wanted poster at one point. So yeah, Big Mom definitely knows about that, right? So, she might be thinking like, oh, because Oden is a member of the Kozuki clan, and because the Kozuki clan is from Wano, and because Oden went to Laugh Tale, then obviously part of the information has to be on Wano. So she might actually be referring to Oden's journal. Maybe not specifically she knows that Oden has a logbook that is currently in the possession of Yamato, but she knows that, like, okay, the Kozukis have a connection to this, and maybe Big Mom does know that the Kozukis created the poneglyphs, because remember, Big Mom's information network is purportedly the best in the entire world. Probably in terms of pirates, it's the best. Maybe the Cypher Pole and the world government's information network is, the best of the best, but Big Mom's is definitely up there as well, okay? So the idea that Big Mom could find out this information that, not a lot of people know about, like the fact that the Kozuki clan were the ones that originally, the stonemasons that created the poneglyphs, and she obviously knows about the significance of the road poneglyphs. So, the idea that she would know about that is not far-fetched, okay? Now, she might be looking for something Oden left behind, or maybe not something specific of Oden, but just like the Kozuki clan were here, so that means somewhere in the castle there has to be something written somewhere about the One Piece. That's not bad reasoning skills, okay? She might not be referring to anything specific, like, I know for a fact that the poneglyph in the basement of the castle explains exactly what the One Piece is! Ah! And then she blows up. Nothing like that, right? Now, when it comes to Oden's logbook, I did a whole video about that, on whether or not Oden actually put in the damn book, like, what the One Piece treasure is, and I'm going to assume he did not. I'm going to assume that when we hear about those narrations that Oden made, like, what is the Will of D? What are the ancient weapons? We found this and all more on that island, and Roger's reaction was he just laughed at it all. Ha ha ha, so did we. I think that's literally just word verbatim what he put down in the journal. Now, here's the thing, though. We've never actually seen the journal as the fans, right? We've never seen, like, what's written in the damn journal. It's just Yamato's reaction to what's in the journal. Momo reads it and is like, I guess I should stay alive after all, right? So he knows some stuff about it. So for a fact, even though Oden does not spell out exactly what the One Piece is in the journal, it's going to give you, invaluable clues on where the One Piece is, what it is, like if you actually read the journal. Somebody needs to get that journal to Robin's stat, all right? At the end of this arc, I don't care if it's like the world government invades and then there's another war on top of the one we just won, and like people are dying left and right. Robin needs to get her hands on that damn logbook before the Straw Hats leave this island, okay? You can make a copy of it, whatever you gotta do, but like Robin has to at least read it once. She's got a pretty good memory. She's an archaeologist after all. She reads poneglyphs. That's her whole thing, right? So I don't know how it's going to happen, but I don't know. Who has it right now? Does Momo have the journal or does Yamato still have it? I'm going to assume Yamato still has it because Momo is a dragon right now, And so I'm not really sure the situation with that. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to bring this up because I just realized this. Yeah, that is the case. That is so weird. Okay. In One Piece, the standard rule for transforming into, when you have a zone power, was that your clothing transforms with you. So when Kaku transformed into a giraffe, he keeps his, like, CP9 outfit, right? When Chopper, even when he goes into his monster point, he still has his hat and his shorts. They just expand in size. Kaido does not keep his clothing when he transforms into a dragon. And when he transforms back into a human or an ancient giant or whatever, he has his clothes back on again. And it's the same situation with Momo. So I guess Momo could have the journal in his, pants or whatever, but then he transformed into a dragon and, like, the pants become, like, assimilated into the dragon itself. Kind of like when you're a druid in D&D or whatever, like, the objects or whatever you're carrying becomes one with your animal form and then transforms back. It might be some situation like that. But I just realized that's an unusual little thing because we don't usually see that with zones. But anyway, yeah. So we need to get the journal to Robin so she can understand what's going on here. Now, which of these two do I think is more likely when Big Mom was, like, falling off the side, like what she was referring to, okay? And I have no idea how she would even find out about this information, because when she says, like, part of the One Piece or some of the One Piece should be on this island, like, the only way I think she could extrapolate that information, unless it is just her guessing, it might just be her guessing. She's been looking for the One Piece for a long time, guys. She's been looking for Laugh-Tale. She had a road poneglyph before Roger even found Laugh-Tale, right? So she's been interested in this for a while. It might be possible Big Mom just, arrived at a conclusion, and even though there's no basis for the conclusion, she just kind of rode with it. I don't know what that's called. That's probably a logical fallacy or something, but I can't remember what it's called. But it might be like 20 years ago, Big Mom was like, the Kozuki clan live in Wano, and the Kozukis are the ones that created the poneglyphs. Therefore, part of the One Piece must be in Wano. And she just rode with that knowledge, with that idea in her head for so long that it just became fact for her. Might be something like that. I don't know if Oda would, like, twist it that way, because that seems like a little bit of a cop-out, or a lot of a cop-out, but it's possible. It's possible that could have happened too, right? Well, anyway, the only way I think she could find that information is if it was written on a poneglyph, and Big Mom can't read poneglyphs. Pudding, could read them if she awakened her third eye. Maybe there was a new revelation involving Pudding's ability to read poneglyphs ever since, the Straw Hats left. Maybe Pudding's encounter with Sanji and the crew awakened the powers of her third eye. So before Big Mom left to go to Wano to capture Luffy, maybe that was another reason where Big Mom, like Pudding awakens her power, like, I can read the poneglyphs now, Mom. And so she's like, what does it say? And it's like, it says part of the One Piece is located in Wano. And then Big Mom's like, great! I can capture Luffy, take Kaido's head, and find the One Piece once and for all! We're going to Wano! It could be something like that. I don't know, man. But yeah. It's whenever Oda drops this stuff, man, where it's like, just when you think you might have a grasp on it, you might have an idea on the pulse of where this story's going, Oda will just drop something out of nowhere. Just like, yeah, part of the One Piece was in Wano the whole time. What would you do? Okay! Revise the plan? Okay, whatever. Anyway, continue to let me know how you feel about this, because a lot of people were giving me information in the last chapter, talking about, like, their thoughts on it. There are some people thinking that, like, that this translation was still not the most accurate one, or even in this context, when Big Mom said, some of it or a piece of it is supposed to be here, she could just be wrong about that. She might have just had an assumption, a theory, and it just was wrong. And that could have been the situation too, or it's in a very roundabout method. The idea that the message could be like something found in Wano points you to One Piece beyond just the road poneglyph. Like, the road poneglyph's definitely there, but there's something beyond that, and that could be Oden's journal, his logbook, or that could be something else altogether. I'm not sure. But regardless, let me know how you feel down below, and thanks once again to Sandman AP for those translations. I'll put his link down in the description as well. So, moving on, we have elephant facts! Woo! I think we might be nearing the end of these soon. You know, with the animal facts and everything, because I know ant facts lasted like 3 months, but that was before I decided that we're just going to go through the whole damn alphabet. I think maybe if I want to get through this at a decent pace, maybe like 2-3 weeks for every animal, and then we can move on to the next one. I already have F picked out, you know, what's going to be the F animal fact, all right? You know, just press F in that chat. I could reveal it at the end of this one, but I don't know. I'm going to hold off on that for right now because I think I do have a few more good elephant facts before we reach the end, and then we'll do the reveal of the next one, okay? But anyway, today's elephant fact, we're talking about the trunk of the elephant, okay? As well as some other stuff involving, like, their tusks and things. The trunk, though, very interesting appendage for an animal. Now, look at human beings for a second, okay? We got 2 arms, and on top of those arms, we have fingers, and these fingers are, they're very opposable, right? We have opposable thumbs, right? That's really cool. We have all that kind of stuff, right? Well, elephants don't. They have their legs, but they mostly need to use those to, like, support their giant weight, okay? So when it comes to actually, you know, coming into contact with other elephants, like greeting them, or drinking water, or, you know, taking food and putting it into their mouths, or just picking up anything in general, like a paintbrush or whatever, that's all in the trunk. And it's fascinating because in human beings, and I understand humans are, you know, pretty small compared to elephants, but in our bodies, we have about 600 muscles, okay, which is actually more than I thought we did have, but we have like 600 muscles in our body, okay? Elephants have about 40,000 in their trunk. All right, so you got to understand that because the kind of stuff that the trunk is capable of doing, it actually can be very, very delicate to the point where it can lift up a paintbrush and paint on canvas, or it can grab a whole thing of leaves or like rip a tree root out of the ground or whatever and just eat it. You know, it has to be very strong, but also very delicate to the point where they can, like, it's sort of like fingers, like opposable fingers, where they can actually pick things up and kind of, you know, move around with it and everything like that. So that's just fascinating with the trunk right there. We also have their teeth, or their tusks. Now, the tusks are part of their teeth. It goes all the way up into their skull, okay? And very much just like a human, if you were to chip a tooth or something, it doesn't grow back. Same thing with an elephant's tusks, which makes the whole thing about poaching even more horrible, because the idea is they rip out an elephant's tusk for some stupid reason, like, oh, it's a magical, mystical thing that can cure disease, when its reality is just hurting, possibly killing this animal. Anyway, yeah, the tusks are part of the skull, so if they're chipped or whatever, they don't come back. Also, sometimes elephants will prefer either their right tusk or their left tusk when it comes to, like, digging things in the ground or, like, maneuvering with it. And so usually in their lives, one tusk will be worn down more than the other one. You see this in a lot of older elephants. They're made out of keratin, which is the same material that our fingernails and teeth and stuff are made out of. The same thing with, like, antelopes and their horns, like animals' horns or tusks or fangs and stuff, all made out of keratin. And so, yeah, that's just a little bit talking about, like, the elephant's tusks and their trunk, which, aside from their just massive size, are probably their 2 most distinguishing characteristics I just wanted to bring up here. So, yeah, there's a few more elephant facts I want to get to, but we'll probably wrap that up by the end of this week, and we can move on to the letter F for animal facts. And I've already decided, but you can make guesses down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking and Barry. I also just have Vivi back here. There's no, even in case you're curious, like, why is Vivi back here? Is she going to tie in any of this? I mean, like, well, no, she isn't, actually. Now, Vivi's just one of the many figurines that I've received over the years from you loyal listeners out there, and I'm finally able, now that I have my own place, to just take all of my anime figurines, all my sexy One Piece women figurines, and actually have them, like, there displayed. So now I can, you know, switch them out whenever. And there's so many Robin figurines, guys. So many Robin figurines. With wet t-shirts and everything, swimsuits, so many Robin figurines. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking signing out.